are detainees who have been granted bail but can't afford it. Bail of less than 1,000 rand, by the way. And these people are often classified as low-risk offenders when your bail is set at less than 1,000 rand, but they can't afford it. It's not hard to imagine. We're in a country with vast inequality, great poverty, and in a country where people quite literally depend on a social safety net of 370 rand from the government on a monthly basis. It's not hard to imagine that 1,000 rand is a tall order for many offenders who have been granted bail. Well, a new initiative called the Bail Fund, which is being launched by the Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services, led by Justice Edward Cameron, has now put together this initiative, and they hope to be able to raise funds with support from the Bertha Center rather, to help those detainees who have been granted bail but can't afford it, to alleviate overcrowding in prisons, especially where bail awaiting detainees or bail approved detainees are kept. 2,600, that's the number, quite a number of them. And then a little bit later on, have you ever had to fill out a Z83 form? I've heard stories that it can be an incredibly frustrating process. I had no idea what a Z83 form looked like until a few minutes ago when I had asked one of my producers to show me what one looks like. And I just browsed through it, I perused through it, and it seems like a very boilerplate, straightforward job application form, right? The type that you would find in most organizations, except this one captures a great deal of demographic information and personal information. Well, the Department of Public Service and Administration, they've said that they are changing the process, and they've provided some clarification on the operational issues that government departments have been facing using the Z83 form. We're going to be talking to them a little bit later on in the show to get sense about that, and to look at the way forward. Does it make the job application process in the public sector a little bit easier? And then just after 10 o'clock, just after 7 o'clock, 10 minutes after 7, we're going to be talking to Prof. Eric Atmore, who's a director at the Center for Early Childhood Development. The Minister of Basic Education, Sifiwe Gwahube, had delivered an address at the Banapili 2030 Roadmap Leadership Summit. A number of interesting highlights came out of it. One that the minister highlighted that 3 in 10 children in the poorest quintile of our communities are not on track developmentally, that they've fallen behind. And we're talking here about children under the age of 6. 8 in 10 children under the age of 6 in some of the richest quintiles in wealthy areas are on track developmentally. And 1.3 million children aged between 3 to 5 years are sitting outside of ECD formal education. We now know with the Bella Act in law that early childhood development is now a legal requirement. It's now a statutory mandate to the minister to execute. We're going to be making sense of that just after 7 o'clock. I want you to be a part of it. Give me a call, 086 000 2032. I'm taking your WhatsApp voice note reactions throughout the show on 0614 104 107. 0614 104 107. And of course, you can find me on Twitter or X, if that's what you call it. It is at Oliver_speaking, and on Facebook, simply Oliver Dixon. I'd love to hear your comments. 14 minutes after 6.
Think bigger than just a banking partner. Think a team of specialized experts supporting you to make better financial decisions to enable your growth aspirations. Think a strategic partnership providing indispensable advice to help you make the right moves. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. For more information, visit nedbank.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank. We're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
For 90 minutes, neighbors will not get along. Bafana Hugo are hunting for 3 points. But Dikwena want to cause an upset. This is the FIFA World Cup 2026 African qualifier. Witness the human rights pitch rivalry between South Africa and Lesotho on Friday, 21 March at 5:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4, S3 and SABC radio stations. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The Daily News Diary on SAFM.
And Ann Musa joins us. It is 15 minutes after 6 o'clock. Ann, what are you looking at today?
Good morning, Oliver. Well, the looming deadline for the analog switch off will be challenged in court today, the applicants being the SABC and ETV arguing that if the decision to set the switch-off deadline to 31st March, which is this month, is not reviewed and set aside, it will cut off millions of South Africans' access to television. The Eastern Cape Health Department spokesperson, Sizwe Kupelo, is back in court today, and he's facing charges of fraud and forgery for allegedly forging his matric certificate when he was applying for the position of communication